Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome to round 4 of the iRacing Israel League from Summit Point. Now, Summit Point Motorsport Park is a little bit of a hidden gem. It's hidden away from the mainstream, tucked away in the corner of West Virginia on the state line and off the Pro Series schedules for many years, yet manages to eke out a successful existence through club racing, track days, driver training, and today, the iRacing Israel League with the touring cars going wheel to wheel, door to door, wing mirror to wing mirror. What's going to be two absolutely epic races. I'm Tim Cox. We've got John Robertson in the production people right now. I'm joined by Seb Bosher Williams, who's sitting in for Dane this week. Seb, welcome to what's going to be two absolutely frantic races. Some a little bit challenging to overtake on. However, if anyone could get overtakes done, it's going to be these guys.
It certainly is. Good evening, Tim, and good evening, everybody tuning in for tonight's action. Yeah, I completely concur with what you're saying here. It's definitely tricky to overtake, but these drivers can, and they've got the perfect machinery to overtake. These TCRs really lend themselves to wheel-to-wheel racing. And it is so nice to see Summit Point back on a calendar. It's such an underrated track, in my opinion. It's got a real mix of technical sections, flat out. You know, it is one of my favorite circuits, and I love the club feeling that it has about it. It doesn't feel like a Grade 1 Formula 1 circuit. If you go offline, if you get onto the grass, you're gonna have a bad time. You can see from this camera angle how close the track is to the grass, and to be honest, to a ticket to the barrier, and that's your race over. So a great race here tonight, and yeah, qualifying ongoing, and it's going to be so crucial.
It is indeed. Just take a quick run through the championship standing. So in Pro, Goodbye leading the way on 177 points with Day, just 10 points behind him. That's with the halfway stage in the season. That's definitely going to go down to the wire between those two, Levi and Michelin. They're not too far behind on 154 and 145 respectively, and John Chico rounding out your top 5 on 130 with Euron only 2 points behind, and Malkov only a further 4 points behind. Then Mazzari, Sherling and Shashashvili running out your top 10. And having a little look across into the AM section, well, Dubarev, he leads the way and a bit more of a commanding lead in AM. He's got 28 points advantage over Lachette, Lely on 126, and then nipping at his heels is Lars and Mazus, both on 121 tied for 4th place. Then we've got Stern, Scher, Ventura, Baba, and Simon rounding out your top 10. With those last three incredibly close together and just 7 points separating them. And wow, the trailing pack behind them aren't far behind either. As mentioned, qualifying, that's just underway at the moment, not too far from the finish. Alan Dare, you're a provisional pole setter, and actually looking at the time sheets, I think pretty much everyone is done with that. Malkov, he's going to start on the front wave with him, only attempt to separate them, and Chico, wow, so close to getting that Honda onto the front row, under a tenth behind, and likewise Sherling as well, so top 4 pros, incredibly close, incredibly competitive. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a dominating track for the Hyundais here once again in this series. And just going to head across now into the first race of the evening. There's your grid day on pole with Malkov on the front row. Chico and Sherling on the second row with Baba and Shakirov on the third row. Again, there's Meshalam and Zabev. Goodbye and Ventura taking it to 10th place in the 5th row of the grid. Then it's Mazzari and Mazuz in 6th row, with the 7th row being Simon and Yaron. Zer and Sher, Lachette and Stern making it the last complete row of the grid on row 9. And then on row 10, all by himself, it's Galili. We're looking to come through the field. And an interesting one, we've got a fair few of the AMs up there, mixing up things, Seb. So it'll be interesting to see how they can come on. Of course, we know none of the drivers are afraid to get their elbows out in this series, so it's going to be so crucial this first lap to try and make some places up.
It really is, and yeah, I think if you're any of the AM drivers or even the pro drivers that have qualified behind the AM, this first lap, even this first corner is so crucial for them. Actually, you're right, Baba there, less than 4/10 off the leader, so he's had an incredible qualifying performances. I think we're about to get underway for race number 1.
We are indeed, and let's not forget, race 2, the grid for that is formed up from the race results of race 1, but the top 10, they are inverted. Both of them being 15-minute long races. No fast repairs here, so if you incur damage, then that's it. It's to the pits and have to sit and wait for the repairs, and that's going to be so crucial to make sure you stay out of the walls and contact, because it's really going to affect your race. Just waiting on one driver to take to the grid, just waiting on Tom Ventura currently in 10th place. You see a bit of a missing slot on the grid there, just waiting for his car to populate into that one before we
He's not going to make it.
here. I don't think he is, no, because here come the lights. Let's get ready to go racing at Summit Point for the first time today. We are green, and away. And wow, just slotting into the gap was left by Ventura then. I think that was Michelin making good progress in the Honda early doors as we streamed out to turn 1. One of the longest runs to turn 1 that we will have this season. And all this contact already in the midfield. 2, 3, 4, 5 cars all involved here. You're on. Galili, I think, was caught up in that. No, he wasn't. It's Zabrev. Timon, Ventura, he's coming back through the field after having to start through the pits. But already drama, and we hadn't even made it through turn 1. As we see Shakirov now, he's under pressure. The AM driver, that's Sherling just behind him. And so close as we've always got 2 wides galore there in the background. Wow, Seb, said you'd be in for an action-packed first lap. We're not even done with it yet, and already 5 people with a few scars out there.
Certainly are, yeah. People, I think, underestimating how slow people were going to be into turn 1, getting late on the brakes, and it's just a recipe for disaster. We're watching Sherling, the number 200 car, almost colliding with the 888 car up ahead. That's Shekov there that goes very wide, not to be outdone by one of the Hyundais behind him that goes extra wide. They're almost 4 wide down the straight, certainly going to make it 3 wide, and they touch somehow. They'll keep it all together. There's still 3 wides. We head into turn 1. And that is, who is that? That's Mushalam on the inside. He's going to pick everyone's pocket. No, he isn't. He's off the track, into the gravel. And what a crazy set. And Shekrov has taken the lead in AM. And all that's happened in the space of about a straight and a corner.
Shakirov currently in 5th right now in the Hyundai Elantra. But look, is right behind him. Sherling in the Hyundai, apologies. Shakirov in the Honda.
Ooh.
And then Bubba, wow. That's a big accident there for Gabay in the Audi RS3. I've never seen someone quite make it up onto the banking there. That's a bit of a new one for myself. Never quite seen that before, but wow. Well, that's going on. The top two, Day and Malkov, pulling away a bit, 1.1 seconds ahead of Chico, currently in third. But these two, well, you can practically float a blanket over them. Because Alon Day, a driver in Euro NASCAR, so fully used to the sim racing world and real world racing. He's going to be drawing on all of that experience to keep Malkov of bay. Malkov setting the new fastest lap of the race. Shakirov in AM as we setting the new fastest lap. But here we go, Sherling trying to make a move up the inside of Shakirov. Can he make it stick all the way round? Well, this is not done and dusted because neither of them giving an inch, but Shirley just getting the slight advantage there. Shakirov, where his battles are, just tucked back in behind him. That 888 machine. And they remain with Baba now closing in and looking to try and pick Shakirov's pocket. Of course, that the battle for the lead in AM and 5th overall right now. Having said that, Seb, you know, they've got a nice bit of fresh air to serve behind them in third in AM. So as much as they've got, you know, wouldn't be battling one another, they can afford to take a couple of moves and not to pay off before the 36 Zerd and Hyundai catches up with them.
Yeah, they certainly can. It really lends itself just to maybe making a move that you wouldn't otherwise, as you were saying, dive to the inside, maybe try and hang it around the outside if you're feeling particularly brave. Somebody feeling particularly brave. Is that Zerd? That's Baba off the track, very, very wide there. Lost a huge chunk of time. Certainly not what you want to be doing if you're chasing the leader of your class. Crucially for this race, it's about to be proven by day who goes quickest, but actually the leaders of the classes, at least on the lap number 3, weren't the quickest in their class. There were drivers behind them even quicker. This is Meshulam up the inside of the number 36 car of Zer. Thinks better of it, just pulls in, can't really make a move into turn 1. And yeah, this is starting to prove why Summit Point is just, it's difficult to overtake at some points. There's lots of opportunities for the car that's being overtaken to brake later, go round.
Oh, nearly lost another driver there. I think that was Yaron. It was just in the background. No, sorry, it's Lachette's even. We nearly lost there, getting a bit loud and leery. And just about keeping hold of it and keeping it on track. Somehow just like dipping his right-hand wheels into the gravel, but I tell you what, battles happening everywhere. Zer and Meshulam right now battling it out, and this is a bit of an odd place to try and make a move, but Zer's going to try, so Meshulam's going to try and get this one done. In that 777 Honda Civic Type R, and he slots it up the inside through Paddock Bend. However, who's going to get the best exit of it? Well, with that wide line, there's surely going to be that driver, but they're going to drag it out the whole way down the start-finish straight, this long, long run. And now who's going to be the last of the late breakers? Honda versus Hyundai. And well, Meshulam just about keeps hold of it, but that compromise exit, it's backed them right up into Stern and Scher, and Lachette's isn't too far behind either. This is an intriguing battle that's really starting to play out for 7th overall.
It's, oh, Meshulam's wide, and Zer's wide, Stern's almost wide. I think Lachette was the only one to not go wide at that corner. Down the inside goes Stern, almost makes contact, backs off it, but Zer is off the track. I think he was distracted by that move made in the corner previously. Zer off the track, misjudging his braking zone, will get away with that, but has lost a huge host of positions, and that is the danger of these races. You get involved in battles in one minor mistake, especially at a track like this, it all just unfolds. And Zer has, well, he still has about 9 minutes left of racing, so we'll have to keep an eye on his progress. Also, somebody that's made good progress is Ventura. He didn't make it to the start of the race, but he's currently out and about lapping. He's a little far down the field, about 15 seconds off the leader, but has fixed whatever issue was plaguing him, or maybe he just was simply a bit too late to start the race. We don't know. This, however, is Stern. Oh, and that's Scher looking very aggressive down the inside. Not really going to make the move done. A little bit too far back, but I definitely applaud his optimism. it's such a technique that you can use, though, is just sort of try and distract the driver. We saw it work, actually, with Zer. Just distract the driver, make them go offline. And, Tim, I've not driven Summit Point for a while, but all of these drivers going really wide at that corner that we're seeing, I think it's...
Wagon Bend, that one.
Wagon Bend, yeah. Does that give them a 1x? Because they've got 17 incidents before they are disqualified. So
it does indeed.
So these drivers have got to be really careful, because they've so far... it almost seems that every driver that's been past there has been off there at least once, and some, I'm pretty sure, are doing it every single lap. So they're going to be careful on the incident point. It's always a consideration, even in these sort of shorter sprint race formats.
It certainly is indeed, and a lap time of 1 minute 15. They're going to be lapping around about 10 times. So yeah, it might, a couple of contacts in the meantime as well. Play havoc for some of the drivers of races. As you were saying earlier, Sir, like cracking start. He was battling in the opening laps with Shirkov, who's first overall in AM, and now, well, he finds himself all the way down in 8th in the class, but he's starting to settle down a little bit. Ooh, we've got a replay coming in. What's this going to show us? This is Mikhail Simon, and this is the start. So we're going to see a look at and there we go, just all front. Wow, he loses it all by himself there, just got onto the grass, locked the rears, round he goes. And then begins the Austin Power style million-point turn to get the car pointing back in the right direction. But that's what's put paid to his race, 9th in class at the moment, but Alan Day still leading the way here at Summit Point. Malkov not too far behind in 3 attempts. They are getting away, though, from Chico, currently in 3rd, Sherling 4th. Then 5th, we've got Shakirov, Baba, Meshalam, Stern, Sher, Lachette, rounding out your top 10. Stern, the biggest position gainer so far, up 10 places, started all the way down in 18th. Brilliant start to race 1 for him, of course. Race 2, the top 10 are inverted, so that means Lachette at the moment will be starting on pole. Day demoted down to 10th, and everyone sorts it out accordingly in the meantime. But, well, here is Malkov hunting down Day. Desperate to stay on to the back of Day, just looking a little bit twitchy on the brakes as they came through shoots. And these two just seem to be biding their time at the moment, Sev, and waiting for the right moment. I think the firecrackers and fireworks could all kick off in the last couple of laps.
I think they will. Malkov actually set the fastest sector, in Sector 1 of the race on this lap. So really being able to push the car into the braking zone of Turn 1. Of course, the slipstream provided by Alan Day ahead is certainly going to be helping that. Malkov knows
I don't think
Day.
you heard that there, Seb. Just coming through Paddock Bend, the final corner, Malkov just had to lift a little bit. And now Daydo's defensive right to the inside, says to Malkov now. You don't pass me there. You're not getting up the inside now, just squeezing him wide. Hyundai versus Hyundai, albeit the Elantra versus Veloster of Day and Malkov. Day using all of that real world and sim racing racecraft right now to really keep Malkov at bay. And I tell you what, he's managed to add a couple of attempts onto the gap. But you know full well Malkov is going to be right onto his rear end, harassing and harrying him along within the next lap or so. And, well, Malkov looking really good initially on the brakes, but maybe just braking a little bit too late. You can see it within the gap of the time on the timing tower, left-hand side of your screen, where it closes right up into the braking zone, but then Day able to extend it out. It's getting much better exit where Day's not running in quite as deep.
Yeah, I think it's certainly. I think Malkov is really pushing out there at the moment to get this win. He's got his eyes firmly set on the victory for race number 1, and I think it's slightly hampering him. You sort of have to calm your driving down just a tad. I mean, it's really counterintuitive. You want to push, but yeah, you're right. You tend to lose a lot of time if you brake too late. You might gain it all on entry, but you're going to lose all the time that you've gained and more on the exit. Malkov there, looking quite nice and collected into turn 1. Runs a little bit wider than Day. Doesn't seem to affect his times too much, but that initial charge that we saw from Malkov a few laps ago seems to have waned a little bit. And actually, Chico's looking a little bit more into this race, and Malkov there very wide at Wagon Bend. Certainly an off track and maybe even a slowdown. He was so wide off the track. And Malkov, yeah, certainly pushing. Actually, even with that, he's gained quite a considerable amount of time. I think if we were at FIA, I think the stewards will be very upset with that. Of course, iRacing doesn't have any sort of that. We just have our good old 1Xs and off tracks, and our slowdowns, of course. But yeah, I think Malkov he does look quicker in the twisty bits and under braking, but Day just has this incredible traction, and it's really protecting his lead. I mean, around a circuit like Summit Point, where you don't tend to have too many sort of hard braking zones and then a long straight, you sort of have traction is just so crucial here. This is the only real overtaking opportunity, but Day is just so good on the exit. And this is Galili, and this is a battle for, where is this? This is 11th and 12th. So anything that goes wrong up ahead, and these drivers are looking at reverse grid pole right now.
As we see Galili trying to find a way past Yaron right now, and tucks it right into the slipstream. How late is he going to leave it to pull out from it? It's just cancelling each other out at the moment, and there you go. Just has a bit of a look, then dips back in again, just trying to distract Yaron. And Yaron just runs in a little bit deeper. Galili just getting the slightly better exit. He's going to close right back up onto him. However, on the approach to Wagon Bend, that's not going to be the best place to try and overtake. And you see just a bit earlier onto the brakes from Galili there, just to extend the gap out. So he can carry the momentum and close the gap at just the right moment, and that's going to be out of Paddock Bend, the final corner, to launch himself into attack all the way down to turn 1. So no battle just happening behind you. You might have just caught in your camera there. That's Mazuz and Tazler. Having a little bit of a scrap over 7th in class, 13th overall between those two. But Mate on this last lap has just extended out a couple of attempts, and the white flag flies here at Summit Point in race 1. 1 lap left to go. And Malkov, well, just a little bit too far back to have a lunge into turn 1, which is arguably going to be his best overtaking opportunity the whole lap, Seb. I think this might be done and dusted potentially.
I think barring any mistakes, any last lap shenanigans going on, Malkov got a much better exit out of Wagon Bend. Don't think that's going to impact it too much. But of course, if this order finishes like this for race number 2, Day will be starting behind Malkov. And these two have had the pace of the field. They're very similar on pace, as we see lots of action going on, heading in towards Wagon Bend. And here is that. It's a 134 car. Doesn't know to look left or right. Cars everywhere. Through Wagon Bend we go. All somehow managed to keep it mostly within all the track limits. And here is that. That's Galili, who's... that's Lachette, you're right. So we've got Yaron, Galili and Lachette all involved in a battle. And I think, as we were talking about with Day, we're just a little bit too far into the lap for any real meaningful overtaking opportunities. And I think this is Day crossing the line.
It is indeed. Day takes the victory in race 1. Malkov in the end has the second place. John Chico comes home in 3rd in the Honda Civic Type R. As for Am, well, that's going to finish, as they cross the line. Shakirov takes that 5th overall for him behind Sherling, the pro driver in 4th. Baba is 2nd in class. And I think is Stern going to get it? It's going to be a close one to the line. Well, yes, he just about does. And there's 3 wide, 4 wide in the background there. And Yaron, Galili and Lachette's just coming across the line as they were just previously in the lap after their overtakes through Wagon Bend. And wow, what a race 1 drama right from turn 1 until the checkered flag. We've still got another race to come, another 15 minutes of action and drama and excitement. Of course, with that inverse grid as well. We know in race 2, we've seen it all season long, just how that shakes things up and makes the racing extra spicy. So there's your Class 5 results. Alan Day taking the victory with Malkov in 2nd. Chico rounds out the podium overall. Sterling in 4th, Shakirov 5th, and your winner in Am with Baba 6th. And 2nd place now, Meshulam 7th, and then Stern picking up the last podium place in the AM category 8th overall. Then we've got Sher and Yaron, Galili, Lachette's Mizari, Simon, Ventura, Bay, and then Subarev rounding out your field. And that just confirms your grid there, with Yaron obviously promoted pole after finishing in 10th. Sher, Stern, Meshulam, Baba, Shakirov, Sherling, Chico, Here come the lights. Let's get ready to go racing for the second time at Summit Point, and we are green,
from the
green,
third.
green. We are away, and ASAP, a cracking start from the 777, and Meshalam in third place, but we've got 2 wides, we've got 3 wides in the background here as we race down into turn 1. Are we going to see a repeat of what we had in race 1, where it looks like everyone's got through somehow amazingly fine? But they're all going to be side by side. A bit of pushing in the background there. I mean, that's Baba and Sherling having a bit of a door bang in the background. But Meshalam gets himself up now into second place. As everyone, wow, amazingly, I'm surprised we've made it through lap 1 without any major contact or incident here. As we come down to the more technical part of the circuit, into shoot through the carousel, and just that Stern there, just running a bit wide after contact. I think it was Chico there. Oh no! And he's across the track and straight into the path of Mazzari. And he's forced wide, and well, that car looks like it's ready to head to the pits. Yes, Stern heading into the pits. As we come round now on the second to last corner out of the S's up towards Paddock Bend. They bang doors on entry. That's Sherling and Day. Day making a good start here, already up 3 places. Your race 1 winner, but he's not going to get the best of exit. But it's also happening at the front as Yaron takes on Meshalam in the fight for the lead. Meshalam on the outside in the Honda. And we've got Yaron on the inside. They dive it down in the brakes, and wow, there's a bit of collision in the background there between Sher, Baba and Shakirov, who just about make it through somehow. I'm not sure. After they're all right on top of one another as they all slam on the brakes. Came to a grinding halt, but there's a bit of argy-bargy going up front as Meshalam just has a bit of a collision with Yaron, and Yaron now losing pace as here comes Baba. He's going to get the move done where Yaron was just compromised off the exit out of Wagon Bend and gets the move done. Day's looking to make progress as we head down through the chute and looking like he's going to get that Hyundai Elantra up into 5th, and then wow, there's banging doors once again. Shakirov and Chico, I think it was there. No, sorry, it was Sherling in the Hyundai Elantra, and wow, that Sherling coming off definitely the worst, and now Day up to 4th. Let's not forget, he started all the way down on 10th. Not even 2 laps ago, and he's pulling away as we've got a 3 wide just behind him in the run through to the final corner. They bang doors. Oh, and a rally crossing there, pretty much all the way to the outside. That's Sher trying to take on some inspiration from our producer today, John Robinson, World Rallycross champion on iRacing, clearly. As well, he's still going here all the way down into turn 1. Nazari setting the new fastest lap of the race in pro. Oh, it's Simon going even quicker, the AMP driver, by nearly a second as Chico here drag racing it out with Shakirov. The run all the way up to Wagon Bend, and that looks like Shakirov's going to get the move done. Of course, losing ground on Baba, who's currently 2nd overall as the AMP driver. Wow, what a crazy couple of laps we've had there, Seb. It's Day going for another pass, this time on Yaron.
Yeah, Day really preferring that place to overtake. He's made 3 places up in 3 laps. In fact, of course, that incident we saw with Stern, it was all sort of set off by Day doing a very ambitious move to the inside, which sort of set off a chain of events, which ended up, unfortunately, with Stern having to retire. This is Chico still under pressure, sorry, still putting on pressure of Shakirov, tries the inside line into Paddock Bend, hugs it really tight, just manages to avoid any sort of contact, and Shakirov now has the better run down towards turn 1. Of course, Chico will be in the slipstream. Not too effective here in these TCRs, but every little bit certainly counts. Number 84 car, one of the only Audis in the race, thinks about having a move on the number 200 car of Sherling. Brakes very late, and they all stay line of Stern into turn 1. Also wanted to point out, who is it? It's the Simon, the number 18 car. He was the one that spun into turn 1 at race 1. He's actually had a really good recovery drive so far, just quietly, just consistent, getting on with it after that unfortunate mistake, and having a great recovery drive as everybody is doing their best rallycross impressions on the exit of Wagon Bend. Into the hairpin we go, and that's a little bit of damage there for Chico, Tim. You see, he's just that front end not looking as maybe as happy as it once did. At least you don't have to pay for any damages in iRacing, but that won't be helping the handling at all, and that's really allowing Sherling on the back of Chico as we head through the infield section onto this long straight before we head into Paddock Bend to complete another lap. And also we need to mention Messerslam, what a great start from him. So deep onto the brakes into T1. Had so much confidence in the car, drove around the outside of some drivers and he is in the lead. But somebody who wants that lead is our race 1 winner, Alon Day, thinking of a move into the final corner of Paddock Bend. Thinks better of it. And just, sorry, that's turn 1. They're so far ahead, they're into turn 1. Shirling to the inside and he gets up, he's defending, isn't he, from Marashia there.
Yeah, it's all happening here again in race 2. Battles up and down the field. Shirling and Chico there just dueling it out between the pair of them. Day looking to make progress, feeling like he's getting held up behind Babo. Just defends it nicely there through the chute. Just squeezes Day out wide. Oh no, but he's running in too deep and he's lost the rear end on the gravel as he tried to recover the car. Oh no, that was so close as he tried to recover the car. And oh, there was this further contact round. There's 2 cars off. That's Shirling and Simon, I think. It is. Oh, I'd love to see a replay of how that quite happens. I mean, I was concentrating on, obviously, the spinning car and missed how they all made it through. Here we go. We've got the replay now.
Onto the grass.
Yeah, and
so
that's
that's
what
Simon.
just caused it.
So Simon was onto the grass, I think distracted by the car just parallel to the track and heading in certainly the wrong direction if you're heading there. This is Yaron challenging, this is Shakirov challenging Yaron as we head down towards turn 1. Nothing really doing there. Day up to second and he is far in the distance already.
You say nothing going on, Seb, but Chico, he's starting to muscle his way into the action, and where Shakirov wasn't able to get the move done, Chico trying to utilize that lack of momentum, and looks like he's going to pull right alongside here. He's going to have his work cut out if he wants to do it all the way around the outside of the chute, and he holds the car there, and then just gets up the inside into the corner to get ahead of Mazzari there. So, get ahead of Shakirov even, and wow, what a move there. Wow, some absolutely stunning moves being played out here. And Chico right in the thick of it. Oh, Mazuz, he's off, and that is Galili off as well.
Yeah, another incident into the carousel, proving the real action spot in race number 2. This is Yaron defending to the inside. He's got the number 13 car above Chico behind him, but he's gone very deep into the final corner. Almost collides with Yaron on the straight. They're too wide as we head to cross the start-finish line to start another lap. They're bump drafting. It is like the European NASCAR League at the moment onto the brakes. Everybody sorts themselves out. No real moves to the inside. Number 13 thinks about it, but I think just didn't really feel it, especially when you're racing in these close quarters and, you know, you start bumping cars on the straight. You almost start thinking about survival more than overtaking. You just want to make the braking zone. You don't really want to make an overtake. You just want to make the end of the race. And Chico certainly doing great. But this is the battle I was just about to point out. Messerslam struggling under pressure from Day. He's had relentless pace. He's been so good at overtaking. We've seen how good he has been, you know, making the moves into the corner before the carousel, that really tight hairpin. He's just been so late under brakes and he's got such control of the brake pedal. He could really use that to rotate the car. And if you're Messerslam, you are feeling a little bit scared, I reckon, in the lead, as I think Simon is heading into the pits because he's jumped up on our timing stands. But of course, he was involved in that incident at the carousel a few laps ago.
Day surely on the attack. Messerslam knows it as well, goes early to cover off that inside line from Day. There's battles going on in the background, you can just about see them there, but Day trying to hold it on round the outside, keeps his nose just in there, but Messerslam holds him off, and that Honda Civic Type R has slightly better straight line speed advantage compared to the Hyundai. And Messerslam using every last horsepower, every last pound-foot of torque, but here comes Day. He's fighting back once again, and he's made this move work so many times for him so far, and already done ahead of the chute as Messerslam backs out of it. And Day takes the lead here on lap 8 at Summit Point in race 2, with just under 2/3 of the race completed.
That move started with an amazing exit from from Wagon Bend. He just had the car more underneath him. He could get the nose pointed in earlier on throttle, and Messerschmitt went wide just to compound the issue. But yeah, Day, great under brakes, but great under throttle as well. That car and setup and driver just working superbly well. Threads the needle perfectly through Paddock Bend. No dust kicking up there just to show how good he is with his lines, and that's Yaron there really kicking up some dust on both the apex and the exit. Yaron certainly feeling the pressure from Mirazaz behind him. The number 84 car 2 tenths behind in that Audi, the original TCR, all the experience of being able to drive that car for many more seasons than these newcomers. As down the inside we have another Audi making some moves. This is Gabay into turn 1, and that's a fairly ordinary move for TCRs. He was a little bit later on the brakes, got the move done, and he's ahead before the corner exit, and that's the most conventional overtake I think we've seen all day, Tim.
I think it is indeed. Certainly one at most of them, as we see you're on, and it's got Mazzari just behind him right now. And oh, that's a bit of, I was thinking that's going to be an intriguing move to head right around the outside to nip it up the inside and then on the S's. But they cut back, but Mazzari now swarming all over the back of Yaron. A raging pack of bees. And you can see the way, there you go. You've got a much better exit, and Yaron just runs it a bit wide. That's going to allow... So, yes, it's going to allow me... I've lost my words here. Mazzari to just pull alongside, and that is the move then out of the final corner. You're going to surely watch him just scamper away down the start-finish straight, away from Yaron. Keeping half an eye on what's happening in the background. They're relatively orderly at the moment, but you know full well in the iRacing Israel League that is only moments away from them coming together and it all kicking off once more. We've got 3 minutes remaining in race 2. That's going to see us around about another 3 laps. Looks it like we're left on the clock. Who is going to come out on top while Day's looking strong at the front? 7 tenths ahead of Meshlam. Chico third. Comfortably at the moment. Shakirov fourth, and your leader in Am, then Mazzari and Yaron. Zibarev, he's second in Am right now. 7th overall, then Ventura. After that, not making the grid in race 1, he's had a cracking race 2 is Tom Ventura. In the Hyundai, he's 8th overall, already up 9 places. Baba 9th, and Gabay currently rounding out your top 10 overall here from Summit Point. Just see. So Shakirov and Chico trading times at the moment. Chico just slightly quicker than Shakirov. They head down the start-finish straight. We see who's going to come out on top between these two in these last couple of laps. Let's forget Chico on the pro driver, Shakirov on the AM driver. So fighting 2 very different battles, but Shakirov desperate to be on the podium overall. Oh yeah, nice little another one to notch up on the wall of achievements for him.
Certainly would be. Yeah, just sort of cutting in there just to sort of get across. Like you just see Shakirov's progression on this grass. You know, on this graph, he was doing sort of 17s into the 16s, sort of in the low 15s, and then sort of in the high 15s even, and now he's doing a 15.4. His pace is just improving. He's just learning this track, and he's just becoming more at one with the car. As the fuel comes down, the car gets easier to drive, and Shakirov's really found his rhythm so far, and that's really putting Chico under pressure. Chico making a mistake into Wagon Bend, going deep and running onto that gravel, which is almost tarmac at this point. It's been used so much, and Shakirov there had so much rotation in the car through Paddock Bend, really able to use that. And this is Zubarev and Yaron. Yaron spent more time looking in the mirrors than I think he's spent looking forwards, and that's Zubarev past him with a little bit of argy-bargy, and this is the white flag lap. All the drivers will see that, and they know that if they want to make a move, they need to do it this time by.
So the white flag flies in race 2, and there's contact on the brakes. But here comes right up and inside the pair of them, Tom Ventura, capitalising on other people's mistakes and picks the pair of them's pockets. It gets up to second in 6 overall, now up 11 places for the Hyundai driver, but he's got a big gaggle of cars behind him, made from Yaron Zubarev, Baba and Gabay, as they're almost touch onto the brakes, and they have a go once more and somehow just about avoid one another, but that's going to allow Ventura just to pull away. Yaron, Zubarev, all over each other, but equally they've got Baba and Gabay joining in the fight too. Day's going to take the victory here again to make it 2 wins from 2 at Summit Point. Meshalam, second place. Chico's going to hold on for third overall, but back to this epic battle that is ensuing. If we look down from above, Zubarev, he's got Yaron in with him as well. There's always going to be a real race to the line. Who's going to get there first? And it could be anyway between all of them as they come across the line. Gabay, Zubarev and Yaron finish in that order of what was an absolutely epic sprint to the finish right at the final depths.
It certainly was. Yaron, I think one of the biggest losers there. Something happened to him as we just cut away to see our race win across the line. I think he went wide, certainly down a few positions, I think, to when we last saw him. But Shekarov there, your winner. Great job by him. I think he'll be a little bit disappointed to not get the overall podium, but he's shown great pace at Summit Point. And yeah, Ventura, after having whatever issue he had in race number 1, didn't actually take the start. Started from the pits and to sort of, to have to sort of battle his way through race 1, put him in a great position for race 2. And yeah, you're right, up 11 places, our biggest gainer on the grid to 6th place overall. That's certainly an incredible drive from him.
Just tell you for your classified results for race 2, Alon Day making it 2 victories from 2, Meshalam in second and Chico in a third. That makes it 2 third places for Chico this evening. Shakirov, winner in 4th overall. Mizari 5th. Tom Ventura, just saying about him. Great second race for him. 6th place overall and second in class with Baba running out the podium in There was Gabay in 8th, Zubarev 9th, Yaron running out his top 10 with Schirling, Lachette and Malkov in 15th place with Mazuz in last driver on the lead lap. Then retirees was Galili, who we lost 5 laps ago on lap 7. Simon, the Honda driver, we lost on lap 6. And then Stern, unfortunately, didn't make it past the end of the first lap and having to retire. Let's see if we can grab one of the drivers for some of their comments. Seb, I told you before the show it'd be a little bit crazy, a bit wild at times, but filled to the brim with action and drama and excitement. How do you find your first Israel iRacing League?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved every single second of it. There was not a dull moment on track, but it wasn't just, sort of door-to-door, banging in sort of like bad-tempered racing, which I think you can sometimes get in TCRs. It was really clean, I think, as much as it can be for TCRs. And it was so enjoyable to watch. And the skill that these drivers have, especially with these TCR cars, they are so difficult to drive on the edge. I mean, I remember driving the Audi actually around the Nordschleife for the 24 hours a few years ago, and really struggling with it. These cars are so light under braking. They don't really lend themselves very well to wheel racing. At least for me, with how difficult they are to get them slowed down and to keep them in a straight line. So yeah, these drivers are super talented, and it just shows with how good the racing is.
Definitely does. And let's have a bit of a chat with the man who picked up 2 victories from 2 races here today at Summit Point. Alon Day now joins us in the commentary booth. Congratulations, Alon. I couldn't hope for a much better result, really.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it was a good race, especially after the fact that I joined the first practice ever on this track with this car an hour ago. I'm pretty happy with the result.
Yeah, well, that makes it all the more impressive, really. I mean, we spotted coming through the chute, which is around about 10.45. You seem to be favouring, round the outside and then getting it hard onto the brakes into the left hander. Seems to be one of your most favourite moves out there. I mean, were you finding that you were able to balance the car quite wide, because quite well even, because it can be a little bit unsettling, especially for the rear end where you're coming off a almost near full throttle corner, and then all of a sudden having to slam on the brakes, which obviously lifts the rear end up and makes it really light.
Yeah, I guess it's not my favorite place. I guess that's the only place, or maybe you have probably two places you can actually overtake. It's after the straight line, the first corner, and also it's extremely hard with those cars because it's really hard to hang on the outside. And if someone is blocking the inside, I guess there is no really big chance to overtake on the first corner. So that corner, I don't remember the name, but I think that's one of the best places to overtake. The only risk is what happened with the guy on the inside. If he made a mistake and slide on you, then you're gone. But thankfully that didn't happen. So yeah, and it's quite spectacular and pretty fun to do that. So it was nice.
Definitely, it did. It certainly looks spectacular. Spectacular looking down from the commentary booth here. Next time we head to Spa, very different track. With more overtaking opportunities and a bit more of a driven track, certainly for the TCRs. How are you looking forward to that one?
Well, unfortunately, I won't be here in the next race. I will be in Las Vegas. So yeah, I guess the rest of the guys, good luck with that race. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be even more crazier because I know that the cars are not that quick. The downforce, the slipstream is pretty high. So especially on those on this track on Spa, for example, I think we can see quite a lot of. We should expect quite a lot of overtaking, especially after Rouge and Blanchiment. So yeah, I guess yeah. Good luck to the. I think the best racer will win. It's not about the lap time. It's not. It doesn't matter how quick you are. If you manage to place yourself in the right position, know how to defend well and how to overtake well, I think that's the key to win in Spa. But yeah, as I said, unfortunately, I won't be here. So good luck for them.
No problem. And before we let you go, Alon, anyone you want to give a shout out to at all?
Yeah, no, just for the guys from iRacing Israel, everybody that put an effort to put this amazing championship and the sponsorships, Grip and URD. That thankfully, yeah, without them, I don't think we would be here. So yeah, thanks to all of those guys, and thank you guys for commentating. Hope to see you, I guess, in next two rounds.
Definitely, indeed. We'll be at Barber Motorsport Park in 2 rounds'
Yeah,
time. So
that's a cool
that's
track.
yeah, it's to drive. It's an absolutely epic track, and I'm sure it will. We'll have plenty of elbows out to get some moves done around there, and we shall see you in a couple of rounds' time. That's Alan Day, your double race winner here from Summit Point.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
No problem. Seb, I understand you're standing by with John Chico, who picked up 2 third places here today.
I am indeed. Yeah, yes. Welcome, John. After a really good race from your side, I suspect. Yeah, 2 third places and qualified third just to top it off.
I'm all about the threesomes today. I don't know what's going on, but hey, it worked out great, so I'll take it. What's up, everybody? All good?
Yeah, yeah. You certainly had consistency out there, and it seemed that a lot of people around you were struggling. There were lots of crashes. What was your sort of your mindset going into the races? Was it just to survive, or were you focusing on podiums every time?
Well, this race or these two races were actually kind of like a course correction compared to the last two races, because the last two races were shit show. Sorry, but I had my wheel configured on like a 450 degrees, and It was all understeer and never realized it. But so I really wanted to. I came into this race like with the mindset of being on the podium every time, being aggressive when I should be, and cautious when it's warranted. So yeah, I think my strategy worked out pretty good. I was aided by some freebies along the way, but I'll take them as they come. And yeah, and congrats to Alonde and to Yaroslav for the second place, I think, in the first race, and to Meshalam in the second one. And yeah, it was a crazy one. It was the second race was rough. The first one was okay. The second one was a bit rough for sure.
Yeah, it certainly looked like that from our side. Race one, after sort of turn one, lap one, everybody sort of settled down, but race two, I don't think it ever really settled down. Tim almost collapsed on lap one. I think he didn't stop talking until about lap three. Yeah, it just goes to show how crazy it was out there. It's really interesting what you're saying about, like the wheel not being set up right, and it can make such a big difference. So you sort of corrected that and feeling at one with the car again. I think for next time you need to sort of set your sights on a win, because you said you set your sights on a podium and you got it at both races. I mean, you must be really pleased with that.
I'm very pleased. As far as the podium as far as winning the race, listen, Alonde is almost half my age or twice as fast. So I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna go. Yeah, and Yaroslav this season is also super quick. But yeah, I'm gonna go for podiums as much as I can, but mainly focus on points. But yeah, for sure, maximum points, maximum podiums. That's definitely the strategy for sure.
Yeah, it certainly is a good strategy, and it's certainly working for you today. Great race from you. And before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to mention on the broadcast?
Yeah, everybody that runs this league and takes a lot of shit from all of us, and here's a lot of whining and complaining, and to you guys for broadcasting this, to Sim Race Equipment here in Israel for providing me with all my gear. Thanks a lot, Hagai, and thank you very much, guys, and have a good night.
Thank you very much to you too, and hope for more success next race. Race as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Wow, Seb. Definitely some interesting comments there from both of our drivers. Equally, both finishing in both races where they started on the grid in race one. Day qualified on pole, 2 first places. Chico qualified 3rd place and 2 third places. So definitely an air of consistency out there. A little bit surprised from Malkov in race 2. I think maybe a bit disappointed, especially by that one. But wow, definitely some intriguing racing out there as always. But as they both mentioned, Spa next time, it's going to be all about the slipstream and that race down out of Les Source all the way up the hill, through Eau Rouge, Radion, down the Chemist Straight, and he's going to be last of the late breakers into Lacombe.
It certainly is. I really liked what Alon Day had to say about it. When he said that it's not going to be the fastest driver to win, it's going to be the driver with the best racecraft. And I think he's really hit the nail on the head there. It's not about all-out speed. Of course, it's going to make your job easier. But the ability to be late under brakes, to be confident in where you can brake, especially for Lacombe and the Source as well, it's just going to give you such an advantage if you are confident. And yeah, it's going to be the best racer. It's going to be the one who, maybe even we can go to NASCAR strategies, who starts, second on the final lap, could be the one that ultimately comes out in the lead. And for your reverse grid races, there's even more overtaking opportunities here. Than Summit Point, and Alon came through the field, so I think you'd almost be expecting that at Spa. But then there's some tricky bits, there's some twisty bits at Spa, the bus stop as well, a huge braking zone, and with these cars they have a tendency to understeer. Certainly at low speeds, we might see some incidents at the bus stop. To be honest, I think there's going to be incidents at every corner at Spa.
It's definitely going to be a really intriguing one to watch out for in a couple of weeks' time. Definitely looking forward to that one. But, well, coming up on the channel, if this hasn't been enough to quite wet your whistle and dampen your appetite here, Apex Racing TV coming up in Ooh, around about 4 hours time on the channel. I'll be back in the commentary for the Ritmatech Sport Car Series from Sebring. That's going to be an interesting one with GC4s and TCRs involved there. And then tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. it's round 7 from Alton Park of the ARL GT3 Trophy. And then at 1 a.m. GMT on, well, would it be Tuesday morning effectively? We have got, sorry, Wednesday morning, we've got the Ray Esports Racing League runoffs at Watkins Glen for Seb's back in the commentary booth here at Apex on Saturday for round 9 from Hockenheim Ring of the Apex Racing Academy F3 Super Series. And then that same evening, part of our double header here, we have got the Formula Renault 3.5 Championship from Silverstone, where I'll be back in the commentary booth with Austin Knight for that one. Well, yet again, this league has not failed to deliver on action, drama, excitement, with twists and tales and turns to the story at every corner pretty much. And it's been another absolute classic here from Summit Point. From myself, Tim Cox, John Robertson in the production booth, and Seb Boscher-Williams, thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time when the championship heads to Spa-de-Francorchamps in Belgium.
Are you
I loved Alon's interview there. He's such a driver.